So Australia has a new Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. He's more socialist, left-wing, more eco-friendly. And what impact has that had on the Australian stock market since his election this weekend? Well, I'm going to take a look at the short term in the charts. I'm going to have a look where the Australian stock market fits in the global scheme of things. Also going to take a look at the longer term picture of the ASX200, which is the major Australian stock market, to see where it's heading next. And if you want a piece of the price action, I'm going to show you where you can trade it. So with that, let's get on with the analysis. Well, in terms of the short term, the answer to what impact the new PM has had, well, it's absolutely nothing. Well, you can see here as it broke that green pivot line there, that price did initially go up, hit the institutional pivot zones, then fell back. But actually, as of producing this video on a Tuesday morning over here in the UK, price is really back to where it started. So absolutely no impact whatsoever, and the probability power box in the shorter term giving us a 60% chance of an increase in the stock price today. So in terms then of where do the Australian stock market fit into the global context, well, I have this very messy line chart. It's got most of the bigger stock markets on here, year-to-date performance. Down the bottom we have the Russian stock market, but do notice how the US markets are also heavily down the bottom here compared to a lot of the others. Now the Australian stock market is actually one of the better performers. It's that red line there. It's down nearly 3% year-to-date so far. Top performers Norway and Indonesia and the UK. So it's not lagging too far behind. Remember, it's a major commodity player, quite a big economy, so a lot of business with China because of its commodity background. So it does have potential to ping back up when things, economically globally improve as well. But at the moment, it's looking not too badly placed. And if we look at the longer term weekly line chart for the index, then you can see actually it's been growing very nicely for the last decade, really, just consolidating this year, really, as you can see, around that sort of 650 to 850 sort of area. As the rest of the world struggles, it's not pulled back as bad as some of the others. So let's see where it heads next. Use that pink triangle set up there as a breakout in either direction, or trade the range within. That's quite wide enough to create a lot of trading ideas there. And if you are positive the Aussie index in the really short term, then we've got this 4-line break chart for you, some entry points around 7180 and 7190. Daily Heikin-Ashi, what's that showing us? Signals at the bottom are currently bearish. Volatility round about where it normally is, 14-15%. In terms of price action, longer term probability power box giving us an up probability, only just 54.9%, and it's in those red dashed institutional zones at the moment, so expect it to ping between those. The trend is red and down, which negates the possibility of a more serious up move at the moment. Wait till that flips green if you want to play it to the upside, and we've got a sell signal on the 2-line pink box breakout set up. So a bit of a mixed bag at the moment, but you can see that support, like I say, around that 6,850, that bottom red dashed institutional power zone, providing a lot of support for the price at the moment. And the Renko chart, we used a 25 block size. Signals at the moment, well, I'd call them weak bearish in the very short term. 25 block size is going to give you a lot of price action and movement. In terms of the actual price action, is within the 2 pink box breakout set up there, so that's neutral. And Fibonacci's for targets to the upside, look for 7,300, 7,600, and then sort of 7,900 to the upside. Downside 6,800, 6,600, then 6,500. 500. So if you're from the States and you want exposure to the Australian stock market and its performance, then I suggest you have a look at some ETFs, and found one here in my first trade broker account. Vanguard Total International Stock, ticker VXUS. A lot of information there for you to do your research around. About 25% of that ETF is weighted towards Australian and New Zealand based stocks. But what if you're from the rest of the world? Where could you trade? Well, I suggest you having a look at CFDs and spread bets. So where could you do that? So here we are within Trade Nation CFD spread trading, as they like to say it, broker account. Do they have the Australian stock market? Well, if you scroll down on the left panel there, go under Indices. Good selection there. Actually come under the Asian bracket there. There it is, the Australia 200 rolling cash. So look at the information. Actually get some pretty decent leverage on there off a margin of 0.5%. So pretty tasty potential there. Minimum trade size also very small. So really, yeah, it looks like, you know, if you want exposure to the Australian 200, the ASX200, then why not have a look at Trade Nation? I'll put the links to First Trade and Trade Nation in the descriptions below if you want to follow that up. So in terms of a score then for the Australian stock market, it's neutral overall based on the technical analysis right now. Heikin Ashi a bit weaker than the Renko chart, and our power probability score pretty neutral as well there. If you're more aggressive, want to get into the upside, then some numbers in the top right for the 4-line break chart. But in terms of targets, it's pretty decent actually. 2.6 and 4.61 to the upside, and 3.6 and 4.38 to 1 to the downside. So a lot to play for there, but overall score neutral. So as the dust starts to settle on the election results, no real change at the moment. So we've got to wait and see what the new PM starts to do to see how that impacts the Australian economy. But really, I think what's going to drive the index here is more to do with China, the global economic situation, and commodities. Let me know in those comments below what you think is going to happen next to the Australian stock market. Any thoughts, suggestions, throw them in there. Love to hear from you. And you want to talk more in more detail, then we run a free traders club on Discord that you can join for absolutely free. Link in the description below for you if you're interested there. Now, if you like today's video, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons. And all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching, good luck with the trading, and I'll see you in the next video.